Tell me you don't feel the same. Wherever you run, I will follow, standing with you in the sun and the rain. How could I waste one precious moment when your love has left me unafraid?
Hello, and welcome to ElliottO'Neill.com. This is my video blog. I'm Elliot O'Neill. This is free creative advice. Subscribe here. Today we're going to be talking to a friend of mine, James Stordy. He's won a Hollywood Music and Media Awards on two separate occasions, or a nomination, and this year he's won an award for the Best American Songwriter. He's going to Las Vegas in, when is it, James? In November to collect his award. The song is called Yesterdays. The song for his Hollywood Music and Media Awards was called, what was that called, James? Unafraid. Yeah. And you can find that on his SoundCloud, which I've also posted here. Today we're going to be asking him some questions about what motivates him. So, James, over to you. Firstly, welcome to the blog.
Thank you very much. Thank
It's
you.
okay. Let's start by asking you what inspires you.
Well, to be honest, it's many different things really. It could be anything from just hearing a song on the radio, or it could be a film or whatever, or it could actually be a film itself. It could be a specific scene in a film. A whole sort of overarching part of the film. It could be anything. That could just be something. I've met somebody and they get inspiration from meeting people, just out and about on holiday, or just
Okay,
out in bars.
so you feel that kind of getting out there and being around people who are also doing things is quite inspirational for you. I mean, is it people who are in your profession, or just people in general that you draw inspiration
Well,
from?
no, generally, it varies, to be honest. I mean, I get inspiration generally from people that I meet, well, generally women, however long it may be, short time or long term, but usually short term, when I travel and that sort of thing. So the inspiration.
So that's kind of like the passion coming out. That's kind of the passion from the soul coming out when you meet a woman. You kind of feel it then gives you that passion, then transfers onto paper into music, basically. Is that what you're trying to say?
Pretty much, yeah. That's
Okay.
usually, it's not always the case, but sometimes, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And what do you do? I mean, something that I go through a lot, and I think something that a lot of our watchers or followers will be, wondering how to overcome, is when you're struggling for motivation. There's times you just don't want to do something. You've been in the house writing for a long time, or you're just not feeling it on that day. You almost hate it. I mean, I know from myself being an artist and from being an athlete that most of the time I love it and I'm passionate, but sometimes it's really hard and you wonder if you're on the right path and whether to change that. How do you get that inspiration when you're struggling to find it? What do you do?
It's a good question. I mean, it depends. There are obviously various different things that you can do. Sometimes actually taking a break is not actually necessarily a bad thing. Even taking a break. The thing is, at the end of the day, you can't spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? You just can't. It's just not possible. You get burnt out, and it's just, I'm not saying that you have to always wait for inspiration, because sometimes, it might not come from anything. But taking a break actually isn't necessarily a bad thing. Actually
Okay.
taking a break, even for a couple of hours, or a day, or maybe 2 days, or whatever it may be, and just doing other things, that has a huge impact as well.
And what other things would you do?
I mean, like going out, catching up with friends is a prime example. Even just going out for a walk, actually, just getting out of the house, because if you're stuck in the same place day after day after day,
Yeah, it's like there's nothing fresh you can find to inspire you. Okay, that makes sense. I know for myself, I was a British athlete for a decade, and now I'm an artist, and I like pursuing dancing as well as some running. And I know for me, certainly, when I lack inspiration, I find just putting some music on, or going out for a kind of jog, or even going to the bar and meeting friends. I think as an athlete I overdid it, and that's ultimately why I probably failed to make an Olympic Games. Is because I burnt out effectively. I was pursuing 8 hours a day, and that was partly myself. I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and I can overdo things sometimes. Quite an addictive personality, but I have learned to control it now, and I find I'm being a lot more successful, providing that success is based on happiness. In my life. I'm a lot happier. So the next question is, how do you feel about setting goals? When you're going to achieve something, how do you feel about goal setting?
I mean, it's a good thing, to be honest. I suppose the aim is not to try and set too many goals at one point. If you're trying to set too many goals, if you try to aim for too many goals, at one time, it's just not going to happen. So it's good to set a few goals and sort of work your way up. So you might start on something fairly, I don't know, basic, but even just about forget about trying to sell the pieces of music or whatever, or art or whatever it may be, or if you're a writer or whatever. Even just completing something, even that's you have that as a goal, just to complete a piece of music or whatever it may be. And then your next goal can be, okay, I'm going to try and sell it or whatever, maybe I'm going to exhibit it or.
So you think it's better to do kind of micro goals and set one goal after another rather than going everything at once?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, if I said, look, I mean, I have goals and things that I'd like to achieve, but if I said, look, I'm going to go from a base level to reaching, like, I don't know. So for example, I said, look, I'd written a piece of music, this first piece of music I'd ever written in my entire life, and then I said, I've decided I'm going to get it, in a Hollywood film. I mean, it's a good goal, and people should aim for that sort of thing, but you can't. There has to be a sort of
there's got to be a process. Okay,
I mean, there are occasions, very rarely, but there are occasions, obviously, where people, do reach those levels, but that's generally because they've had connections and other things that work for them. But yeah, I mean, work your way up, basically.
Yeah, okay.
Work your way skills up. And once you reach
so
those
we're starting low, it's something we can attain, and then every time we set the bar a bit higher.
Exactly.
But not so it's unrealistic. I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, once you've done your base goal, you work your way up, and it's like an escalator, elevator, whatever. It's just working up slowly. And sometimes you say you'll reach your goal, and sometimes you will go actually above that goal. So sometimes you will jump 2 spaces.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's probably better to have a goal that is achievable and then to surpass it by miles, because it gives you a really good feeling and it will motivate you to continue. I mean, what about one thing I wanted to ask is after you've achieved the goal, do you ever find you kind of need a break for a week or so? Something I find personally is that I need a break from what I'm doing because I've achieved the goal and it's kind of like time to unwind, celebrate, take in what I've got to do next before I move on to the next thing. It's not an instant process, and if it was, I'd probably burn out. That's me personally. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it depends on what the goal is, to be honest. I mean, you kind of, if the goal is, for example, to win an award, I mean, you basically, once you've written a song and it's been nominated, to me, or you've won the award or whatever it may be, you can continue. But it kind of motivates you to actually continue in a sense. I mean, you can take. It just depends how you feel. It depends how long the song's taking.
I'm not suggesting stopping forever.
No, that's not forever. But no, I mean,
a few days a week.
It just depends. In some instances, it depends really, to be honest, on how you feel. In some instances, actually, if you achieve a goal or surpass it, it will actually motivate you not to stop actually,
but to continue. I think I can relate to that in athletics. So it's harder in art because it's like you finished a painting.
Yeah.
So the process is the painting.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy to just suddenly go bang right onto the next one. It's
no, this is true.
I think it very much depends what you pursue.
I mean, it's true in music as well, to be honest. I mean, there are occasions where I will write a piece of music or a song or whatever it may be, and then I'll take a break. And then I'll go back to it later on. Or for example, like if you win an award or you've been used on TV or whatever, you might go back to something, not necessarily start something new, but you just go back to something you didn't finish before because you have the motivation.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, of course.
So you're not necessarily starting from scratch. You're starting from a certain level.
Okay, that's interesting. The next question is about competition. I've always been someone who's advocated competition as being a good thing until obviously I went through a bit of a setback in my life, suffered from depression, and I started to question how important competition was after that, because I kind of thought, if is it a healthy thing if you're putting that pressure on yourself? I'd like to ask James what he thinks. I've got mixed opinions. I'm not entirely sure. I'm kind of on the bench. I do think it's great to push yourself, but for more intrinsic reasons now. But I'd just like to ask you, James, whether you think competition's healthy, and what your, in the same kind of spiel, what your motivation is to be successful over somebody else, to win an award.
I think competition is a good thing. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it should be the driving thing, to be honest. I mean, I think you are, well, as humans by nature, we are competitive at a certain level.
Yeah,
obviously, some humans are more competitive than others. and particularly on what depending on the field you work in, you know, whether it's in a particular, like a standard job, maybe you work in sales or whatever, whether you're into music or art, or whatever it may be, films, you know. I mean, I think it's good because competition is good because it motivates you. So you can have competition with yourself, or you can be in competition with other people. Now, me personally, I've never really been in competition with other people as a songwriter. I just do my own thing, and it just sort of works for me. I have, in a sense, I mean, there is a competitive element in the sense that I hear like songs that I really like. I think I'd like to write a song as good as that or better. Usually better, obviously, as good. But yeah, so that's.
But you can never copy that, so you never direct.
No, you never try and copy anything. You say, well, I really like this song because of this and because of that, and I'd like to have something that not necessarily sounds like it, but you kind of has that kind of atmosphere. Or,
I get it.
You know, there's something that connects.
I think for myself as an artist, so as an athlete, it was very important to compete against other people, because if you want to, you know, it was very it's objective, wasn't it? You had to jump a certain distance to get to an Olympics or for Europeans or wherever you were trying to get. You would have to jump a certain distance to tape measure. I think in creative pursuits, because you're not trying to emulate anybody, and it's like a blank canvas, you're trying to almost be original. You do compete with yourself, so I think it does depend what you pursue. I do feel happier in creative pursuits, but I also think there is a place for competitive sport, although I think there's a lot of unnecessary pressures in competitive sport. So that's my view, is it depends on circumstances and situation, but it's always better if it comes from you and kind of you against yourself, basically. The next question I want to ask you, because I've not asked you this yet, although I've spoken a bit in the beginning about your achievements, is what is your greatest achievement, basically?
It's a good question. It's a very good question.
Too many
questions. Yeah, too many. Well, it depends really. I mean, last year I would have said my greatest achievement was actually being nominated for an award for the first time. But then has it been surpassed this year by actually, well, again being nominated, but actually also winning an award? So it's a difficult question to answer. I would probably say that my greatest achievement was actually being nominated last year, because it's kind of the first time
it was
ever.
a step onto the ladder.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, I think once I'm not being disrespectful or putting down the fact that I won an award and being nominated again. Because of course, lots of artists do. They win awards many times over. Sort of thing. But I think the first time, probably, in a sense, it was like anything really. Whatever it is, your first kiss or whatever it may be. It always means more, doesn't it? Because it's the first time.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's I would probably say that.
I would say whatever it may be, it's the first kiss or whatever it may be.
No, but you know what I mean. I mean, in terms of the first, the first time you get an A in school or whatever. I mean, I think it's always the first time is probably something.
I think you can never get that back. It's special.
Yeah.
I think for myself as a performer, the first time I got a British Fest, it was like, wow, this is just such a big thing. Whatever happens now, this has been tipped off the list and it's like major, and I suppose that's how you felt about it.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean,
so even if you didn't progress now, you will. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, even if you went back and you got the GB jersey again, I don't know, obviously 100%, I can't say, but I'd imagine it probably means much. I mean, it'd mean a lot because obviously you've taken a break and that sort of thing, but I still think the first time would probably have meant more.
Yeah, I almost feel like, and it's not a bad thing, I always feel like that kind of night, and I'm not saying it for you, I'm saying it for myself and true to everybody, that naivety of an because you've not been through it before, it's that naivety of it. It seems kind of magical, when you achieve a goal, there's something magic about it. It almost before you find out, about all the politics. For example, in athletics, there's loads of politics, and loads of people bitching at other people, and you'd find out about that through going through it. But when you first get into it, you kind of think, wow, this is like a magical world.
Well, your eyes are wide open.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like you've always got to remember that too, and it's almost great because you can remember that naivety to re-inspire you. You almost have to. Would you agree that you've almost got to touch base with that again in order to achieve new?
I mean, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think it's true. A lot of things. And I remember seeing an interview with, digressing a little bit, but with Viggo Mortensen, and it's true what he was saying, because he was talking about if a child wants to paint, he paints. He doesn't think about it, he just does it. And I think, unfortunately, as you get older, you kind of lose that innocence a lot because of education or
Women.
something. Women. And just things in general, people,
Yeah.
So I think, I think it's important to kind of have, in a sense, actually still have that kind of innocent view, we feel. I'm not too innocent that people will obviously will take advantage of it, but, you kind of have that sort of, youthful sort of.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I think it's about when people say getting into your inner child, it's about learning to play a game. The best way that I find to learn to play is actually, and Stordy will know that I've played his song about a million times. But often I put a song on like Stordy's, which inspires me. One song he's got is about not being afraid and kind of just pushing through. And just listening and having a bit of a dance around the room, around your lounge, and kind of dancing like no one's watching. I feel like these are the things that kind of almost inspire you to go out and do amazing things. It's when you get into like this businessman mode, these people, you go to London or somewhere like that and you see someone in a suit and they're all rushing around everywhere and everyone's taking life really seriously. I feel like that's a mentality that stops that inner child from coming out. You need to go home, get your rags, your tracksuit, whatever you've got on, and to really learn to play and dance and to have fun. I think that's what you're trying to get at, right?
Yeah, that's definitely. I would go with that.
So me and James have been talking for quite a while now. I just want to say thank you to James for coming into my office or my house today. So I've been Elliot O'Neill, ElliotO'Neill.com. This is my blog for creative advice. I'll post another link to James's music just below this page as we're speaking now. And yeah, I hope you like the blog, and I hope it was beneficial to you. Thanks for watching.
Tell me you don't feel